welcome back to the channel, you guys. I've just come back from a school summer club kind of thing, talking about birds of prey, but this video is all about tarantulas and it's an unboxing video, but that led to a rehousing video. So the two little P Metallica slings, they've upgraded, well, they've been upgraded, they've molted a couple of times, they've got bigger, and the P ornata that have just arrived from a lovely lady, they needed somewhere to live, and they've gone in to the P Metallica's original enclosures. I'll talk you through some of this because some of you will think, cool, those enclosures are big. Why is that? Some of you will think, Dave, what are you doing? You could get bitten and envenomated. Don't be ridiculous. The only worry was things going missing. I've already filmed the video. The intro's being done after. I was going to cut some of the comedy out, but what the heck? Let's leave it in, give you something to comment about. But I'll either voice over or put some writing on the screen as we go through the stages. Enjoy the video. So Becky sent me 3 of these poecilotheria ornata slings, little spiderlings, just as a thank you really, because I did send her Chilean rose male, an adult male, ready to breed. He was of no use to me other than he would have come to school visits and saw out his life, but really and truly best he goes off and does something useful. So he's part of her breeding plan, and as a kind thank you, she's sent me these 3 little spiderlings that we're now going to have to rehouse. So the first job really is to rehouse the poecilotheria metallica. Now I've got 7 of these, luckily for me, these Gooty ornamentals, all different sizes from spiderlings to subadults, but we've got 2 little spiderlings that have molted a couple of times, so they can be moved out of their tiny enclosures and put into these much nicer enclosures that we're just going to set up simply. Water bowl, little bits of cork tube and a little bit of bark at the back. Coir substrate is just what I had, but they're going to go in there, and they are going to be quite large enclosures for these Metallica slings. Plenty of water, the lids are well ventilated. I don't like the spiderlings certainly to be dry, and they do like a bit of humidity, so that coir is it is quite dry. It's going to be soaked down. The whole enclosure will be soaked down, and these little enclosures even come with a temperature and humidity gauge built into the lid, which I think is pretty smart. They're still going to look like they're in a vast expanse, but these are eating pre-killed prey. I've got no problem with them being in there. I can place the food on their web, near their hide, and I know they're going to feed no problem at all. So time to catch up the little Metallicas, move them up into their new enclosures, upgrade those guys, freeing up these, my smallest glass enclosures for the new arrivals. So number 2, and a couple of questions you might be thinking, why am I wearing gloves? Because the eczema on my hands is really bad. Suffered from that since a kid, quite bad at the moment. And I'm more dexterous with my hands and fingers. But in this case, I've been catching creepy crawlers my entire life, literally since I could walk, handling animals, catching animals my entire life. My fingers and my hands tend to be my best tools. Maybe a paintbrush to shoo it along in this instance would have been better, but for sure I'm not going to get bitten. I can read the body language, as can you, and these tiny things have got tiny little fangs. Always have catch cups or catch boxes handy. Certainly a get out of jail for free card at times. Although with these arboreal tarantulas, especially when you're trying to tip them down into something, they obviously want to run upwards. But in this instance, again, success. So we've repurposed those Metallica enclosures, ready for the tiny little ornamental spiderlings. Tiny, tiny things. Well packaged, of course. As I've said before, in the UK postal system, I'd say pretty much all of the suppliers of tarantulas online ship their spiders very well packaged indeed. And I've never, ever had a problem at all. So look at the little guy there. And you can see how much the Metallicas have grown, because this is the size they started out when they came to me. So just gently manipulating the little fella, try not to cause panic, and just get them to step off into their new enclosures. So this is where the comedy really starts. This one's being rehoused into a more appropriately sized little spiderling pot. I'll tell you why the others are in sort of relatively large enclosures in a little bit, but this is the sort of size enclosure you'd expect to keep a tiny spiderling like this one in. Obviously it's a smaller target to get the spiderling into, but that's not really why this happened. I guess 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but number 3, feisty little blighter. A little bit of panic set in, a little bit of nerves, he started to run. And these things really can move. Poecilotheria, people will say, they're not for beginners. And that's because really they're fast, they're flighty, and they've got reasonably venomous bite. But of course, if you're not going to handle them, and you're using catch pots and things as they get older, you're not going to get bitten. But certainly in a room or a cluttered room or places they can get under, there is always that chance, of course, that they're going to escape. And I think that's the real reason. You probably need to be a little bit more relaxed around handling and around fast-moving spiders before you keep these. That's to me the real reason. So the little guy's got away. Of course, he's gone straight to the darkness underneath the box. You can see why the guys with the big tarantula channels and other YouTubers have reptiles and things have lovely big studio rooms to film in. Lovely big open tabletops, rims around the edge and so on and so forth. Makes your life a lot easier because, of course, once he's on the floor, this little guy hasn't got far to go before he's going to find something to get under and vanish. Just be cool, think about its body language and what it's going to do, and you'll be fine. So let me just talk you through why those are not all going into little tiny pots and tubs. Well, I don't want to have a huge collection of tarantulas, collecting as many species as I can of things that maybe I just see when I feed them once a week, and have a clutter and a shelves full of plastic tubs. I actually want to keep the tarantula collection at a sensible size so I can enjoy them in enclosures individually. And some of those enclosures at the beginning there are quite large and landscaped out, and that's what I want to see. The rest are in this lovely collection of custom aquaria tanks on a nice unit that I'll show you another day. As always, of course, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, please like the videos if you like them. Biggest thing you could do, share them on your social media if there's anything you like. But also for you guys, remember my channel's different to the others. It's not polarised to one thing. It's across 3 or 4 different genres. Stick around. If the next week's video is about snakes and you only like spiders, stick around. But what I will say is, check out those playlists. See if there's stuff you're interested in that you didn't know you were. See you next time.